such a musical person, and like a lot of y'all notice about me that like I do music, and like I sing, and like I write music for R&B artists and stuff like that. So like I'm such a like an audible person. Audio drives the better majority of everything that I do. So okay, perfect. Okay, cool. So this live is to get into some questions that I didn't get into on the last one that we did. And the last one, like, that whole purpose was to get into everything, but like there are so many things involved with All Models Worldwide, and there are so many things about modeling that like I can't. I think we have to do 2 different sessions, because the first one lasted an hour, and then the next one lasted like 45 minutes or something like that, or it was like getting like damn near to an hour. And so there's just not enough time for us to discuss every possible thing and answer every possible question. And so I figured like maybe do like a series or something. This is not like a series really. This is more or less just like an impromptu thing. But I do get a lot of the same questions over and over. And whenever I do these lives, I just don't have time. Like I don't have like that hour to discuss everything. I kind of have to like pick and choose which ones that we can discuss. But one of the most important things was scams. Was like how to identify scams, and like I get so many. So let's start with this. I get a lot of messages from models who tell me that they've gone through this scam, that scam, and the third. And this comes from models who have already worked with All Models Worldwide. But like the girls who have already worked with AMW, they already know that we're not a scam because they've already worked with us and they've already gotten their comp cards and the whole thing. But like a lot of times they'll message me, but like I encourage this though. They'll message me and they'll say, hey, I just got this email from this brand. I got this email from this person saying that they're an agent. I've had some people who said, hey, this agency or whatever reached out to me and they referenced All Models Worldwide. First of all, nobody should be reaching out to you on behalf of All Models Worldwide if it's not me or it's not the All Models Worldwide Instagram page. We're not just sending out mass emails to people telling them that we're doing this, that, and the other. Like we have very specific places where like if you're not being contacted by us through Instagram, then you're probably not being contacted by us. It's not gonna be through no email, and also like you can always message us for verification. Hey, this person DM'd me or whatever, and we will always verify that. So like the first thing would be if someone's reaching out to you and they're saying that they're on behalf of someone or something, reach out to whatever that someone or something is. Now, for instance, if it's somebody that's saying, hey, I'm an agent at Wilhelmina, I'm an agent at IMG, it's going to be much more difficult for you to be able to verify that because it's going to be, it's less likely that you would get a response from these top agencies in the world. And so people try to kind of skate by, just kind of maybe assuming that there's no way that they can check whether I'm an agent or like whether I'm a scout at this major agency. They can send them messages all day and they probably won't respond back. All Models Worldwide will. I guarantee you I will. If someone's speaking on behalf of my company, I guarantee you I'm going to respond back to that. And not only that, I'm going to ask you who said that, give me their information, and then I'm going to message them and tell them, yo, you need to cut that out. Because I can't have that for my business. Like that's not happening with All Models Worldwide. It's not happening. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of if someone's speaking on behalf of some other company or some other agency or some other brand, you have to do the research. Reach out to that brand or to that company, but then also, like if it is an agency, find models who are already signed to that agency, or find models who already work with that brand, or find brand ambassadors who already work with that brand, or whatever. Find people who are already doing the thing that this supposed person is trying to convince you to do. Don't just kind of walk into it blindly. Like, find some evidence, find some proof, find some references, find some testimonials, which is why like the All Models Worldwide page is pretty much set up specifically like that, where to me, it's literally impossible for anyone to ever possibly think that All Models Worldwide is a scam or like trying to get over on people, because we have so much proof and so much evidence, and every girl is literally tagged in everything. I don't have a single post on my page where that actual model is not tagged in it. You know what I mean? So like, I feel comfortable and confident in what I'm doing. But if you don't have people who are willing to take the precautions that I'm taking, as far as like making sure everybody's tagged, all the girls are tagged, like that you can actually message them questions about having worked with this company, like you should be doing those things. If you feel like it's a scam, if you feel like it's a little bit sketchy, or if you feel like there's just something not right about it, do your research and reach out to people who are supposedly working with these companies or these brands or these agencies, and reach out to models who are supposedly signed by these brands or these companies or these agencies. Do your research and ask as many questions to as many people that you can ask those questions to. You know what I mean? Yeah, like tagging is very, very important. There's not a single post on my page right now at all. There's not a single one where the model is not tagged. Not a single one. There's not one. If I couldn't think of her Instagram name or whatever, then I probably wouldn't post her picture. It wouldn't make any sense for me to post her if I can't credit her appropriately. Like that's just business sense. And I say that now, and I wouldn't be surprised like if someone finds one post on my page where I didn't tag somebody, but like y'all know what you know y'all know what I mean basically. like I really go out of my way to make sure that like y'all know what's like these are actual models. Like go ask them. And like I get text messages all the time, or I get DMs all the time where like a lot of the girls who work with us before, they'll be like, yo, I get messages every day of girls asking about All Models Worldwide, and I have no problem with that. They might be a little annoyed by it, but like I think they kind of understand at the same time though, because whenever they worked with All Models Worldwide, they felt the same exact way about All Models Worldwide as y'all are feeling, and they did the same exact thing as y'all are doing when they work with my company, you know. But if you're working with a company where you can't get any feedback, you can't talk to anybody, you don't know anybody who's ever worked with that brand or that company, like any references, like what are your sources, like anything. If you can't find any of those things, then it's likely that and especially if you're very, very new to modeling, and also couple that with if you're very, very young, a lot of times what happens is these companies, they know that girls want to be models so bad that the girls will be willing to do anything. And I'm saying girls right now because I primarily work with women, but I am going to be changing. We're going to be expanding it to men, but because like my history says that I've primarily worked with women all this time, people know that modeling is a very, very important thing to a lot of girls, and not only like just kind of women in general, but like younger girls, like adolescents, where their parents believe that their daughter is the most beautiful girl of all time, and so their parents will be willing to pay thousands of dollars for their daughter to go to a model camp that doesn't matter, to go to these like modeling schools that ultimately don't really teach them much of anything in the first place. So like you have people who understand that about the fact that like girls are pretty and girls want to model, and they just kind of prey on that a little bit. And so you really kind of have to figure out like, okay, so what's the end result of why you're reaching out to me? For all models worldwide, it's a different thing. But for like a lot of these other companies, like, so first of all, what are you doing for me? What can you guarantee for me? And like, what are your references? Like, I need to see some like success stories. I need to see testimonials. If they cannot provide those things, then like, it should be a wrap for you. It shouldn't even really be a question whether you should work with them or not. But ultimately, just like research, and like you can Google all models worldwide as much as you can Google, someone else. And if there's someone who's reaching out to you, who you can't Google, then that's also a problem as well. That's a problem because you don't want to be their guinea pig. Now, whenever I first started, the models that I chose, they were not guinea pigs. These were models like who had already been proven to a degree, but didn't have certain resources that I had, or didn't have access at that time, I guess, to certain resources that I had. But I had studied so much about modeling that like I knew what resources to acquire before I could even talk to models of relevance. If that makes sense. I hope that, I really hope that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense at all. But yeah, so ultimately, like, as far as scams go, like, just make sure that you do the research. Make sure that you can find testimonials and references. If they're referencing other companies that are like major companies, then you should. I guess I wouldn't be wary of that. Because I think a lot of times like even all models worldwide will reference like Wilhelmina or Next or Ford or whatever because we actually work with them. But like we have proof that we work with them, and there's like a bunch of posts on our page showing that we work with them. And so it's just kind of like a matter of like you doing the necessary research. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah. So I don't know if you guys have any other questions about like being able to identify scams, but ultimately it's just kind of like do your research, and then also like at the end of the day, just message us, just message all models worldwide. Like if you feel like I don't know what this is, I don't know if it's real or not, I'll be able to find out real quick. I've been doing this long enough where I can kind of look at something and be like, no, don't even worry about that. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. So I wanted to get into something else. I wanted to get into, first of all, do you guys have any questions? If you do not have questions, then I kind of have a thing that I want to get into. But do y'all have any questions right now? About anything, not about the last thing, but do y'all have any questions at all that y'all want me to get into? And if you don't, then I'll get into the next thing. So I'll give y'all like 15 seconds to type anything. But if not, I'll go into the next thing. So music says, I have an interview coming up. So social media is a thing that I'm going to talk about tonight. So that's going to be covered. I have an interview coming up. What questions should I prepare for? You have any interview coming up with an agent? Or who's interviewing you? Because that will determine what you should be prepared for. Who's supposed to be interviewing you? It's an agent. Well, also, who's the agent, or like what agency do they work for? That's kind of also a thing. Okay, so I can generalize it. I can generalize it. More often than not, if it's an agency that is local to you, they're going to want to know about like your general movement throughout the city, or just like your general movement just in general, just kind of how you move, like what you like what are your hobbies, what are you interested in, what kinds of people do you like to hang around, what kind of photo shoots do you like to do, what kind of photographers do you know. More often than not, if you're having a meeting, they're going to ask about your personality. And like, so two things. So people can ask about your personality, but like you can give an answer that you think they want to hear. But like, as you're answering the question, you will be showing your personality. So let's say, for instance, you say like, I'm a really outgoing person, but you're not saying it like an outgoing person would say it. They're kind of reading all the if there are any, they're reading the like miscues. So like trying to tell if you're being honest and objective about yourself. You know what I mean? Because like I feel like we probably all feel however we feel about ourselves, but then there's like this other perception that the other people have about us as well. But like you have to have a certain level of self-awareness to be able to understand that I know that I'm this way, but I also know that people view me in this way as well. And so whenever you're having these conversations with these agents, because ultimately your personality is one of the most important parts of what makes you money, obviously, but like what makes that agency money. Because they won't sign you if they don't feel like that they can make money off of you. Like they don't just sign you for no reason. They don't just sign people because they look good and just for them to say that like, hey, we have this girl. Like they want to make money off of whatever girls, you know, or guys that they're signing. But like your personality is so important, because like you spend a lot less of your time shooting and you spend a lot more of your time actually interacting with people, interacting with the makeup artists, interacting with the casting director, interacting with the creative director, interacting with the photographer, almost primarily, basically. And if you have presented yourself to them in an interview or in a meeting that is separate and different from your actual persona on set, whenever you have to actually meet with people who are in charge of like the money coming in, then like that's a whole different thing. And so like you have to be very, very aware of that. You have to be very specific about how you speak about yourself, and very specific about how you are portraying yourself to people. If you're introverted, that's fine. Lots of people are introverted, and there's nothing wrong with being introverted. But if you pose yourself, or if you present yourself to be this like really outgoing, like really adventurous person, and then you end up not being that, then now that's going to be a problem, because your agent has probably had mad conversations with brands or casting directors or creative directors saying that like, hey, this is a girl who's very outgoing, she's very courageous, she's very extroverted, and then you show up on set and you're being weird. Well, not weird, you're being yourself, like you're being your actual true self. But to everyone else, it's like, what? Why is she being like this? Because she was presented differently to us. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully that makes sense. So whenever you're having these interviews, you need to make sure that you're being honest and that you're being transparent about who you are and about what you are, about what you can present, about what you're willing to present, because you might not be willing to do everything, and that's also a thing. Agents want you to be open to everything, but if you are super adamant and very, very specific about things that you are and are not willing to do, then that's fine, because y'all have had that conversation. And so if you are put in positions that you don't want to be in, that you've already had conversations about, that you know for a fact they know that you don't want to be in, now you have something that y'all can go on. But if you're not transparent from the jump, and then you just show up and you're like, oh, I'm not comfortable with that. Not only is that brand or that director going to be like, yo, like, who is this girl y'all just sent us? Also, the agent's going to be like, we didn't know that either. Like, we're all finding out together. So you have to be there has to be a level of self-awareness where you need to be able to communicate as much about yourself as you can that you feel like would pertain to modeling. Now, obviously, you don't have to tell them your life history with like relationships and like how you feel about your mom and dad and all that stuff. Like that stuff's not super important. I mean, you can if you want to. It's not super important though. But like certain things that like are going to be that will have an effect on your modeling specifically and you interacting with people. Those are the things that you should kind of have in the back of your mind if you get asked it. If you don't get asked it, it just kind of is what it is. They didn't conduct a good interview. But if they do ask it, you should be prepared to kind of be able to talk about yourself. And that's something that everybody's not prepared to do. That's something that people are not really able to do because they've never been asked about themselves, like in that manner. Like everybody's been asked about themselves, but like not in a way where like your specific personality and the person that you are is going to either make us money or lose us money. You know what I mean? So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. I know I can kind of rant a little bit, but hopefully that was helpful information. Hey Roxy, how's it going? Okay, so I know that you guys also, so besides the scams, I want to talk about petite modeling and curve modeling. However, the only problem is if I do a petite and curve model discussion, I want to like really, really promote that one. I want that to be one that like I do like earlier in the day that everyone can be a part of, and I really want to promote that because that is a major thing. Yo, what's up, Ken? Yo, Ken, do you want to come on live with me? Yo, I'll put him on the spot right now. So Ken Cordell is one of my favorite photographers. He's actually a big reason why I moved out to Los Angeles in the first place. So most of y'all know that I'm from Texas. I think most of y'all know that, but I'm from Texas. But Ken was actually a big reason why I moved out to Los Angeles in the first place. But yeah, Ken. But no, bro. I was asking you, do you want to come on live so we can like answer questions? But this is very last second, so like feel free to say no, bro. It's all good. I don't want to put you on the spot. But if he does not come on live with me right now, definitely like every model right now, make sure that y'all go follow Ken Cordell. And I know that I'm probably gonna put this on the page as well. And so like there's gonna be like a lot of models who see this like when I put it up on the page. Oh, okay. So he said he can't right now. But yeah, but he's a fantastic photographer. As a matter of fact, whenever I first started managing models, he was one of the people that I sent the models that I was working with to, so we could develop their portfolios, and so we can just like do some test shoots or just like develop really dope content for Instagram or for their books or for content that I want to submit to agencies. And so like he knows his stuff like in and out. So yeah. So I thank you for even coming in here right now, bro. I really do appreciate it. Okay, so somebody asked, will my other lives with other models be on this page? Yes, it will. I didn't know that I could save it on the page before, so I was just going live with all these models and like it just have it kind of be up for however long it's up. I didn't know that I could save them until the live that I did with NV Models when I was talking to one of the agents at NV Models. I didn't realize that I could even save it like on my actual page. So like I have all these fire lives that I've done with Ali, with Marion, with Angeline. Who else did I go live with? I know I'm forgetting somebody specific. I can't think of everybody right now, but like I know for a fact that like had I known that I could put it on a page, like that would have been like really, really dope. But I didn't even realize that I could do that until like two lives ago. So that's my fault. But I do actually, Marion specifically, everyone wants me to go live again with Marion. She was the model from Australia that I was talking to, that I've known since like 2012 or 2013, something like that. I've known her for a long time. And we talked about like a bunch of just different random stuff. But it was fantastic though. So I know everybody wants me to go live with her again. And so maybe we'll do that like this weekend or something. Oh, Asa. Me and Asa, we went live last Friday or Saturday. We're gonna be doing Sunday Fun Day this coming Sunday, and we're just gonna be drinking some wine and just talking about modeling, talking about LA, talking about the state of the culture, talking about black businesses, the whole thing. Because obviously, all models worldwide is technically a black business because I own the company. And so Sunday is gonna be really, really, really fun. And it's not just about being black, obviously, whatever. But that's just a topic that we can touch on, I think. I'm 5'6" and will be 18 next month. Would I be able to be a fashion model with this height? Well, so first of all, basically anybody who looks at our page, we have like a million posts talking about height. So like you could damn near click on any post on our page or our highlights, and you'll know that like we've gotten girls signed at 5'4", like 5'5". I've posted a whole bunch about that, which like. That's not for me to not answer your question, but like it's really to like have, because like I get so many questions about things that are like very advertised on our page, and it's like, come on guys, like just look at literally anything on the page and like most of your questions will be answered. You know what I mean? But absolutely, if you're 5'6" is not. It's not even short, really. The first girl I went live with, maybe like a month ago, she signed with Wilhelmina, and she's 5'6". Angeline, and as a matter of fact, she's posted on my page right now. She has the like cover girl video or whatever, and she was the first girl that I went live with at some point last month, and she's 5'6" with Wilhelmina, and like. I had submitted her twice before, or no, I submitted her once before, and then she submitted to me again. But I think before I submitted her the second time, she had already gotten signed to Wilhelmina. So I think that's kind of what that timeline was like. But yeah, there's like a million posts on our page talking about height and the whole thing. So. In the last live, I also talked about acne scars and the whole thing. So like just go back and watch the most recent video, like that last live that talks about acne scars and the whole thing, because I get that all the time. So just go watch that video. I talked about like a million things on there, and like if you really want to do the research and just kind of find out everything, not only about all models worldwide, but about just like a bunch of things just kind of pertaining to modeling, go watch that last live that I did, because I went out of my way to answer all the questions that I felt like people ask me on a regular basis, which like skin was a major thing that I spent a lot of time on in that video actually. And so like not to dismiss your question, but because I know that I went in like real good detail on my last video about skin and acne scars. Go watch that video, and like I talked about that for maybe like 5 minutes. Like I just kind of went in on that whole thing. So yeah, so please go watch that video. Yes. I talked about it for like a real long time on my last video. Has Scott from IMG ever contacted you back after submissions? Yeah, all the time. But they're always saying that they're not interested. Which like it's not funny. It's not funny. Like so I shouldn't laugh. But all the time. Like I get messages back from every agency that you could think of. But like the top agencies generally are like, no, not interested in any of these models. But continue to send us models, or continue to send these packages. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep doing it, whether you ask me to or not. I was gonna do it anyway. so yeah, every agency that you can think of, we've gotten plenty of responses from. It's just not always a yes. More often than not, the higher and higher you get, the more and more no's you'll get, or the more and more no's I get. But whenever you finally sink that yes, that's like, wow, like I went through all these no's. I finally got it. Like, what's crazy is that like most people always remember all the no's, and the no's are normally what's like the most important thing that like rings true to you. But like in modeling, or I guess in just kind of entertainment in general, but like in modeling specifically, because it's such a vain business model. It's generally based on what you look like. There are multiple other factors: how many followers you have, your engagement, so on and so forth. But like they're primarily though, if you look really good to the agents, you're more likely to get signed. And if you don't have a look that the agents feel like is conducive to being able to make money for that agency with whatever brands they have contracted as their clients or whatever, then it's gonna be a no. So like you're more likely to get no's before you get a yes. But when you get a yes, that yes is like, let's go! Like it's like the most exciting. It's the most exciting thing. It's the most exciting yes that like you'll ever have. Now, what happens after that? Who knows? No one can know. But like even being told yes from a major agency like that, like it is crazy, and it's rare, and it's very far and few in between. Yes, I have posts on my page about getting emails from Ford. I've worked specifically with models who have been signed with Ford. But obviously, so whenever I say that, oh, we have posts about this, that, and the third, like, I can't really expect y'all to have gone through every single post that we ever have, or that we've ever had. Because every now and then I might archive some posts, I might get rid of some stuff just because it doesn't look right on the page, or whatever. So like I can't expect y'all to know every single post that we've ever had. I can't expect y'all to have watched every story that we post every single day. I can't expect that from y'all. But yeah, but like there are posts about like pretty much every. So like I have like emails from IMG, I have emails from Wilhelmina, emails from Next, emails from Ford. I don't think I have any emails from LA Models. I have emails from the industry. I actually have DMs from the director of the industry LA of me asking her, can I send her models? This was like 2 years ago or something. Or maybe it was 2017. I don't know. I'll go back and look. But it was either 2017 or 2018. And I messaged Erin Lucas. And she's like very, very popular. Most people know who Erin Lucas is. I messaged her maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. And I said, hey, this is my company. This is what I'm doing. This is what I would like to do. And so she sent me her email directly. And she was like, yeah, send me your models, and but I have like evidence, like I have proof of that, like it's in my DMs, and I'm pretty sure I screenshotted it whenever she messaged me, because I was like, what? Aaron Lucas, like, it's crazy. That would be like, well, whatever. I don't know if y'all know certain agents' names or not, so I don't want to go into like a whole like agent name dropping thing. But yeah, but from every agency, I've gotten responses back. More often than not, it'll be, we're not interested. But whenever we do get like, hey, we're interested, like, how can we get more information on her? Then it's like, all right, here we go. And then I get really, really excited for those models too. I get so excited for those models because like everyone who works with All Models Worldwide, the reason why you will work with us is because you feel like we're giving you the best opportunity to be successful. And to a lot of the models who work with us, success is based on whether they get signed or not. Now, to me, I think completely differently of that, but I understand what the service that I provide is as well. I know that you can be successful without getting signed, or I know that you can be successful, like whether an agent at Next or Ford tells you, no, we don't want to sign her right now, because more often than not, if you build your brand up effectively and appropriately enough, that they'll be knocking on your door eventually. You know what I mean? And I've seen it happen quite a few times as well. But yeah, so I don't know. That's probably a conversation for another day. Heights Agency, I've never heard of that before, so I won't say that it's not a real agency, but I will say that I don't know what it is. I've never heard of it before. Yeah, like I'm glad. Like I think like it's something that like, so like a little while back, I was working with a bunch of social media influencers, and then I was working with this like talent agency that was like helping develop influencers, and I told them what I do for a living as far as like helping models and all that stuff, and they were like, hey, like have you ever considered like being an influencer like myself? And I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't want none of that. For many reasons that I don't want to be an influencer, and I really don't particularly care that people know who I am, or like know, just like I don't want people knowing just kind of me in general, because I'm such an introvert. I'm not interested in people being interested in what I'm doing every day. Like half the time I'm not doing anything, so I'm gonna be a real boring person to follow. You know what I mean? Like I don't have much going on. I'm just doing All Models Worldwide stuff, and that's pretty much it, I guess. But like as time goes on, like you kind of realize that like someone has to be the face of your business, but like someone who's competent and someone who knows what's going on, and like no one will ever be more competent and know any more what's going on from my company than me. But I was really, really insecure for a long time, and I probably still am, and I think most of us are a lot of times, just about like looking at ourselves and like being judged on like whether we feel like we look good or not. Which like I'm glad I'm not a model, and like I'm also, like I say this all the time, I'm glad I'm not like a really good looking person. I'm like a decent looking person, you know what I mean? But like I'm glad I'm not like a really good looking person where like my whole identity is based on me looking good. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how y'all do it. Like girls, like I don't know how y'all do it, because y'all are constantly being judged on how y'all look, and like very rarely based on personality. Now it's one of those things that also that like your looks comes first, but then it's like, oh, she also has a personality. Well, so like why wasn't it personality first, and then all the vanity and like what her body looks like and all that stuff like second? You know what I mean? But that's not how we operate. That's not how the world works, and that is what it is, and that's fine. And I think a lot of us have to kind of come to grips with that. That is kind of how it is, and which so you can understand why people get lip fillers and boob jobs and facelifts and all these things, because there's so much pressure for them to look as good as they can to everyone else. Like they need to do to themselves what they feel like there will be a consensus amongst everyone else that this looks good to us on this person. You know what I mean? But like, I couldn't do it. I'm not interested in it. I'm glad that's not a thing that I've ever really had to worry about. But because of the nature of the job that I do have to talk to a lot of those girls who feel that way about themselves, who feel like they're constantly being judged. If they don't have certain things going on for themselves, if they don't have a certain look, if their lips aren't a certain size, if their body doesn't look a certain way. But like, modeling has been such a thing that, like, as a model, like you're pretty much always told whatever's popular right now on modeling, that's how you should look. And if you don't look like that, then you're not it. We're not interested in you. You're not gonna make no money. You're not gonna work for no top brands. You know what I mean? Which, like, it's kind of fucked up, low key. But like, I'm really glad that like modeling has started to evolve in a way where now it's so much more accepting, because they're understanding that like you can make money off of like the general public. The general public was never spending money on Prada and Gucci and Balmain and all these major campaigns. Like, the general public was not spending money on this. I think they eventually realized that like how much money they were losing out on by not appeasing the general public. And so then they had to kind of come down off their high horse and take a look at, okay, so like, what do regular people like? Because for them, they're not regular people. Like the high up people, they're not regular people. They're the ones who decide what looks good and what doesn't. But now we're the ones who decide what we think looks good and what doesn't. And now y'all have to design what we like as the general public, and put in your campaigns who we want to be in your campaigns. Because if you don't, you're gonna find yourself in some lawsuits, basically, right? So like, we've kind of like mutinied, we've like revolutionized what it is to be a model, what beauty is in the first place, what beauty means. And it's not always being a certain height. It's not always being a certain weight. It's not having a big butt or big boobs. It's not being light skin. It's not being dark skin. It's some amalgamation of everything. It's being presented something in a package, which is like the most important thing whenever you're interested in modeling. How are you packaged? So like, I get a lot of questions about like, what do you think my opportunity is, or what do you think the chances are that I might get signed by an agency if I work with your company? Or not even just working with all models worldwide, but like just in general, what do you think my chances are of getting signed to an agency? It depends. You can't judge. You can't try to pass judgment on yourself based on someone else, based on some other model, based on what other people look like. You look like how you look like. And it kind of is what it is. So, find a way to market that. You become the reason why girls who were not currently getting booked and getting signed, you become the reason why they now are. But if you fall into the same mindset that I've never seen anybody like me before be successful or get signed, so let me fall back. But someone had to start it. Someone had to make the decision. I'm not going to be a person who is just looking for someone else to start it. I'm going to be the person to start it. Now, granted, these days, every kind of model assigned. At this point, it's just a lack of you doing your own research, or you trying to hold on to old stereotypes that don't even exist anymore because you're still scared about it, or there's still some insecurity, which is crazy. And it's not crazy, but just hang with me. The reason why I say it's crazy is because almost every model is insecure about herself, or about him or herself. If you're a human being, you're probably insecure about something about yourself, about how you look. We could all say, you could have 5 million people say you're the most perfect person of all time, but you, as that person, will still think there's something wrong with you. You will always think that. So, if you can remove yourself from, this is what I think about myself, and this is what I believe I can create, separate from my own insecurity, what do I think I can create? Let me try that. And maybe I'm not the right person for that. Maybe somebody else should try that. But someone has to start it. Someone has to try it. And first of all, no one minds being the OG of anything. If you can be the OG of something, of something that ended up being very, very popular, and that had like a great impact, and that meant something to a lot of people, if you can be the OG of that, whether you were successful or not at it, you tried it. And so now that story cannot be told without you. And there you go. So yeah, I don't want to be on here all day. I mean, well, first of all, I don't mind being on here all day, because I tell y'all all the time, I can talk about modeling and all that all the time. But there were certain things that I did want to talk about. I want to talk about the scams. I want to talk about curve modeling and petite modeling as well. I didn't talk as much about petite modeling, which we can get into that like for a whole separate video. But I did want to talk about social media a little bit. So if I can end on social media, then we can do another. I feel like at this point, I'm just gonna be doing these lives, talking about a bunch of different things. Awesome. I'm glad y'all like this. Also, Butler, what's good? What's good, bro? What's good, bro? Hey, I haven't talked to you in a minute, bro. Hey, shoot me a text. I think I want to do a live where I specifically talk about body types, heights, measurements, all that, because I feel like that really just kind of deserves an hour in itself. And y'all know that I pretty much go an hour every time I do this, or like an hour and a half. Sometimes I have to like redo a whole thing. Oh, let's do it, bro. I'm down. Oh, you know what, bro? You'll be a perfect person to talk about social media with. You know what? I actually don't even want to talk about social media right now. If you want to do a social media live with me, I think that'll be a really, really, really good live that like we can actually promote. Let's do it. So for a lot of y'all like who might not know who Smiles Butler is, I'm not gonna give him an introduction right now. I'll let him introduce himself next time. But just know that like that he does work with and has a lot of experience with a lot of social media influencers, models, and the whole thing. And I think we can answer a lot of questions together from both of our perspectives. But like, so he works, the GOAT. So he works on one side of social media models. I work on the other side of just kind of models in general. But like I've started to venture more into social media, and thus that's how we met. But I feel like he has probably a lot more information about it than probably I do. So I would like for us to go live together, and do like a whole big. And this is like the biggest question that I ever get is social media content. So this would actually be really, really good. So I could even learn a little bit from you as well. And then if I can provide any information that maybe you didn't know from the like agency side of it, then that'd be fantastic, man. So yeah, so let's schedule that. But before I get off though, I do want to at least address like very basic things about social media, just so I don't leave y'all hanging, because y'all might not see our me and Butler's live. Y'all might not see that. So just for like very, very basic information before I get off right now. First of all, your page should not be private. It doesn't even make sense to me why people's so I do know why people's pages are private. I've talked to many girls about why their pages are private, and they're for varying reasons that I don't even want to get into. But I think probably half of the women in here know why their page will be private. they have different people who are watching for them, all that. But make a separate page though. Like if modeling is that important to you, and so twofold. If modeling is that important to you, to the point where you're going to reach out to a company like All Models Worldwide, or if you're going to reach out to Next Models, or if you're going to reach out to IMG or to agents at whatever other agency, and your page is private, you're basically asking to get ignored. Because we want to work with people who are clearly and obviously extremely serious about modeling. And there's no way you could be serious. You could be like super serious about this as a brand new model if your page is private. Now, granted, I have seen girls, I've seen models whose pages are private, but they're models who are already signed like internationally, and they've been doing it since they were like 16 or whatever, 17 years old. And they're just doing it their thing, and like they're already booking mad work. So that I can understand. But if you're a new model and you're trying to get discovered, this is different from girls who have already been discovered and already signed to mad agencies. If you're trying to get discovered and you're trying to send out mad DMs to all these different pages, including All Models Worldwide, but your page is private, like, come on, son. Like, what are you doing? We can't see you, and it doesn't look like you're taking it seriously at all. At all. Because if you were, you'd put yourself in every position to be discovered as best you can. You would try everything possible. And the exact opposite of that is having a private page. So that's like my first thing. My second thing is to understand and figure out, and you have to have a certain level of self-awareness of like, what do you have to offer in the first place? Aesthetically. Just start at aesthetics. It can venture into multiple other things. It can venture into talents. It can venture into skills. It can venture into just kind of your thought processes on certain things, or kind of like what you're interested in, or like what your hobbies are, or whatever. It can venture into all those things, but it should start with, because you want to model, and this is a very vain industry. What do you have to offer aesthetically? Now, it's not to say that like you need to be showing your ass all over your posts, and you don't need to be naked on all your posts. Like, you don't have to do none of that stuff. Do you have big curly hair? Cool. Then your focus should probably be like your big curly hair. Do you have like really dope like colored like natural eyes and like freckles? Then cool. Like show that on the better majority of your posts. Do you have what is considered a really nice body, or like very curvy, or like big boobs, or a butt, or whatever? Figure out what your thing is aesthetically, because ultimately this is Instagram. We're not gonna know anything about you had we never heard about you, had we never seen you. We won't know anything about you, and we won't be interested in even finding out anything about you until you find out what your thing is, what your aesthetic is. And then when we click on your photo, or on your video, on your TikTok, or whatever it is, then we eventually find out all these other facets of yourself. Now this is for new people. People who are already following you are clearly already following you for whatever reasons they're following you. But you get these people to engage more whenever you start to show personality, if you have personality, everyone doesn't have personality. Everyone's not funny. Everyone can't make funny TikToks, and everyone can't do all these different things, and that's fine. Have some level of self-awareness and find out what you are comfortable doing, what you're okay doing, what makes sense for you to do. So like that's a whole different. Yeah, so I will put this on the Instagram TV, but I'm not gonna go into like super detail, and also because like I only have like a minute and 45 seconds left. So but those were like the basic things about social media content that I want to get into. But I do want to do a complete and total live with Smiles Butler about social media, because he works with like a lot more popular people than I do on a much regular basis. I don't, like much more regularly. And so I would love to do that. Oh yeah. Like, first of all, everyone who knows me at this point, like I've posted enough that people know. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. Like, I don't know if it's deemed less professional or whatever, but for the most part, like, y'all pretty much know I'm gonna tell y'all however I tell y'all. I always talk like this. This is how I'm always going to deliver information, but it's always going to be good information. It's always going to be tasteful. I will never try to disrespect anyone. I will always try to make everything inclusive, and I will always try to make it make sense to everyone. But my life ends in 45 seconds, so I'm going to go ahead and end it there. But if you guys do have questions, go ahead and DM us on the All Models Worldwide page. I will be on the AMW page for a little while. So yeah, so DM us. I'm out of here, and I'm gonna go live with Smiles Butler soon. We will discuss that amongst each other, but whenever we figure it out, I'm gonna announce it so we can talk about nothing but social media. And I know that's something that you guys all want to talk about. So yeah, I'm out of here. Thank you so much. Bye.